Hello, Top Fan Rivalry followers. It is Bill and Jackson. Friday morning to you. Happy Friday morning to you. We made it through another week. That means it's time to do a little weekly review. So, Jackson, how are you for this wonderful Friday morning?
Doing pretty good. The Braves are starting to roll. I guess team meetings in Arizona mean win streaks. So MLB Commissioner Mr. Manfred, the Braves need to play Arizona more often so they can hold team meetings and rattle off a bunch of wins. Last year they rattled off 14 in a row, and they're right now currently at a 4-game win streak. Hopefully they can keep it going. Uh, you know, through the weekend against the Nationals. I would hope so, but we'll see.
Before, wait, before we start the show, though, don't you have a special T-shirt you want to show everybody?
Oh yes, it's the Spencer Strider Day shirt. So stride or die.
Stride or die. Stride or die.
We do love Spencer Strider on this segment on the weekly review.
We do. So let's start out with your first one. What you got?
Number one, let's let's get a couple of significant injuries out of the way. I won't talk about one that you talked about before the broadcast, but how about Jacob DeGrom going down? For the year with Tommy John. Absolutely unfortunate for the Texas Rangers. There's another one I wanted to bring up. I think it slipped under everyone's radar because he hasn't pitched in so long. But Steven Strasburg has been shut down for the rest of the year as well with nerve damage. So those are two big time arms. I don't want to wish this or speak it into existence, but it could be end of the line for both of these guys.
Yes. So I don't want to speak the same thing. I'm with you, but at their age, I don't know how old Strasburg is. I know that Jacob DeGrom's 35.
I think Strasburg's 34, but Strasburg's been around one forever too. He's been hurt so much, and
He has.
the nerve damage I heard is a killer. It's just he's in so much pain. There's nothing he can really do about it. There's no cure for nerve pain.
Yeah. And that's the thing that, gosh, it's so disappointing because both of those guys could be Hall of Fame talent. Now, Jackson's our stats guy. So, Jackson, correct me if I'm wrong, but does DeGrom only have 89 wins in his entire career? Is that correct?
I believe so. He has under 100, which is more of a reflection of the Mets teams he played on rather than his pitching ability. Wins is a team stat,
Mm.
everyone. So,
More a reflection of him not being able to stay on the field.
I mean, he has 84 wins and 215 games started.
How many how many seasons did he play?
So 10-year career. So if you average it out to a 162 game average over the 10 years, he made 34 starts, which is that's what baseball references math is, but we know that's not true. I mean, the most games he started in the year was 32.
But he
So
was averaging for the last 5 or 6 years under 20 starts, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, since 2020, he made 12 starts. So that was a full season. Because 22 he made 11, and then this year he only made 6. So I mean, fantastic talent, fantastic stuff, but shoulder and elbow problems are no joke. And I think we expect these athletes to just be superhuman and come back from injuries and pretend like everything's fine, but it starts to pile up.
Well, and you figure if you're lucky, you've got a good 15-year run, right? If you're lucky, you have a good 15-year run.
I think we need to remember, because coming out of the early 2000s with like the steroid era where guys played literally forever, you know, that the average major league career is about 7 to 8 years if you're decent. So
Well, and at the end of the day, at the tail end of the day, yeah, these guys are human, and you want them to be able to have careers and lives after baseball. Unfortunately, that's not the case. You gotta shut these guys down early. And unfortunately, with Strasburg, he was such a high talent, and it was amazing what ended up happening to him over time. So
Oh yeah, no doubt. Strasburg transformed the Nationals when he arrived in 2010.
Right. Right.
And then he helped guide them to their World Series, and then since the World Series in 2019, he's pitched in 8 games. So
Yeah. All right. So staying on the injury bug.
oof.
Okay. Aaron Judge decided to run through the bullpen door this last weekend in LA, busted it all up. Also messed up his toe too. He is now on the injured list. Again, I don't want to see anybody hurt, especially a talent like Aaron Judge. I hope the Dodgers make him pay for breaking our crap, but I'm teasing.
I think they can afford it. They have a couple extra dollars lying around. From staying under the luxury tax this year. I think they have a few dollars lying around. So
Well, I heard that they're taking up collections and looking underneath seats and seeing how much change has fallen and stuff like that. So
they're going to use the 50-50 raffle at the next game to fix the
yeah,
door, right?
yes, exactly. But it's sad to say. I mean, he's one of the American League's top talents. So forget about it. This guy's amazing, but unfortunately, he's on the shelf for at least 10 days. I had read a report last night during one of the White Sox games that there is not a timeline for him, that he got a shot in his toe, in hopes that that will make him feel better, but there is no timeline. So he could be out longer than 10 days. Sad to say.
Yeah. I heard the injury was initially described as like a turf toe type injury where you kind of like jam it on the
Mhm.
joint. And that's one of those injuries, Bill, where it's like, the guy could be better tomorrow or it's going to linger all season long and just be a pain. Especially when you are athletic as he is. He moves around a lot. He's got good
Mhm.
speed. So
Well,
we'll see how it goes.
and he's also, let's not be a toe injury is something that a toe injury is something that a toe is something you use every time you walk. So it's not, like your earlobe where you're not touching it all the time or something. I mean, toe injuries could, like you said, could be serious, could be nothing. So that one's brutal. But that's my first one. So what do you got for number two?
How about since I am the top fan stats guy, let's talk a little stats. How about Luis Arraez flirting with 400? We're heading towards the middle of June. He's hitting 402 after going 2 for 4 again on Wednesday night. I believe they were off last night on Thursday as the Marlins sweep the Royals. How about those Marlins though? Surging Marlins.
Mhm.
They've won 6 in a row. But yeah, he's a really good hitter, and I think Miami being so massive kind of helps him with that. People say he has no home run pop, but when you can just line doubles to the gap, I think that's exactly what Miami needs because they have a lot of scrappy guys that get on base. They're very athletic, so if they just need a guy to get a hit with runners on base, and he's doing it. He's kind of carrying Miami's offense. He and Jorge Soler are putting in the work.
Miami's 35 and 28, I think, if I look correctly when I was on with Thomas yesterday morning for the In the League morning show with Top Fan Rivalry. And my word, I mean, the Miami's just they're playing that small ball. They're, as they would say in Bull Durham, they're hitting it where they ain't, and they're just having fun with it, right? And they're moving runners around, get on, move around, score, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, I mean, so Bill, do you think he has a shot at 400 today's game?
No,
No.
I hope that would be great to see, but this is one of those things where the dog days of summer will hit, right? Now, does he have a chance to hit north of 350, which is amazing in and of
No,
itself?
I
100%.
I think he will. And as a note, if he wins the batting title, he'll be the first person in the modern era since 1900 to win a batting title in the American League, and then the next year win it in the National League. I mean, he's already has the first cycle of Marlins history, so the man's on a mission to just set all the Marlins records, apparently.
Much love to the Marlins, right? And he's also, guess what is going to happen for him? He gonna get paid. He gonna get paid.
He is. He's a, without the shift, I think he becomes even more valuable because, guys with back control, they get hits when you need them.
Yep. Yep. You don't have the beer league rover out in right field. So, yep. Yep. All right. You ready for my number two? This hurts as a Dodger fan, but are you ready for my number two?
Yes, sir.
This hurts as a Dodger fan. 3 words for you. Ready?
Yep.
De La Cruz. Oh my gosh. This kid can play. 6'5" switch hitter or switch hitting uh shortstop slash third baseman. The guy is just dominant everywhere you look and twice on Sunday. On Wednesday night, he hit a 400 plus home run, plus had a triple. They said that he was like the third quickest person to go from home plate to third base this season in Major League Baseball. His home run was over 400 feet. Apparently, in the minors, he went yard over 400 feet right-handed, and then his next at bat batted left-handed and hit a home run over 400 feet. The kid can play. Jackson, have you been paying attention to this kid yet?
Yeah. I love it when teams, call up their young talent that's ready. What the funny thing about that is he's not even their best hitting prospect. Arguably Christian Encarnacion Strand, who is in AAA, who by the way is hitting 353 with a 706 slugging in AAA and is probably going to be called up within the next week.
He's okay.
He's okay. So the Reds might have a few good minor leaguers, but De La Cruz is, he's that 5-tool athlete mold that we've seen. He's got the big arm, he's got the speed, he's got the power, switch hitter. He looks like a custom player in a video game, Bill. You go in there, you're checking all the boxes. He's good at fielding, he's good at this and good at that. So, the Red, I mentioned last week, the Reds are in position, in a week NL Central to maybe make a run that they need. And I really like that.
Can the Reds win that division?
I don't see why not.
Really? Okay.
It's not like Milwaukee's running away.
That's yeah, good point. Good point. I I'm just looking it up right now because I mean I asked that and then I probably should have had this pulled up here, but yeah, the Reds are only 5 out. They're also 5 games under 500.
You know what though? But that's the thing. You could get the young talent up that can spark you, and you can play. You just got to play better than Milwaukee. Playing 6 game. They're 4 games out of a wild card spot too. That third wild card, I think they could potentially. It all depends on how these youngsters impact their roster.
Yeah, I agreed. Agreed. All right, who do you got for number 3?
I kind of, loved my number 3 and my number 2. I was going to talk about the Marlins, but I can pivot. Let's talk
Pivot.
about the NL Central because it's a mess. And I'm going to pose a question to you. Do you think the White Sox, with how they've been playing as of late, have played themselves back into contention for the division title?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. Are you asking me a yes or no, or are you asking me to give you a reason?
I would love your reasoning. I'd love to hear it.
Okay. Yes, because they're beating good teams. And when they're going to play less caliber teams or I'll say regrowth of teams, Washington, Oakland / Vegas, the teams that are struggling, the Cardinals, they know how to win. They played the Yankees tough all week, and the Yankees are a playoff contending team. So yeah, absolutely. What are your thoughts?
I mean, they're sitting, like 3.5 back or something like that of Minnesota. And I think, Minnesota is not even playing 500 baseball, which is crazy to think, and a lot of people point to why we shouldn't have divisions, but we wouldn't have rivalries like this. I think the White Sox, if they can find consistency and, their problem has been they have the talent, but they lack the consistency. If they can find that consistency, I think the AL Central, much like the NL Central, is wide open. It's whoever wants to play, 600 ball in the second half or close to it will take that division. So I might be hopping a little bit on the White Sox train for this, the
Choo
last 100 games of
choo.
the season. Choo choo, all aboard.
Choo
So
choo. All aboard. All aboard. Okay. So my number three is going to hit close to home for you, Jackson. Um, and by the way, Top Fan Rivalry followers, I'm going to paint Jackson into a corner a little bit here. But Jackson and I are going to do a segment live one of these days real soon. And we're going to talk about the teams that are young and have speed and why they're winning. The Baltimore Orioles, the Detroit Tigers, a few others like Miami, Pittsburgh. So I forgot to tell Jackson that we're going to do this. So Jackson, are you good? At some
I
point?
think so.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, don't miss that live.
I'm probably good. You know me.
Jackson showed up on a Friday morning and got some extra work. What do you know?
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
Jackson, this one's going to hit home. And I'm going to ask you a very direct question. I'm going to ask you to justify your answer, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, in or out of the playoffs this season?
I I'm gonna say in. I think with the third wild card they can get in. You know, um, I've been hearing, the Rays made the playoffs last year with 87 wins. It's going to be a little tougher this year, but if you win 15 games a month, you can get the 90, and that might do it for you. I think the Angels can win 90 games.
Okay.
They definitely have the talent too. Our Mike Trout Joe team, you know, they're sitting, you know, a couple games above 500 here. They're not
Okay.
too far back in the wild card. I do think they're probably on par with a team like Toronto
Okay.
in overall talent. So I'm going to say Angels are in. Maybe that's my bias of wanting to see the Angels in the playoffs again. But I'm going to say in.
Okay. All right. So here we go. Don't kill me, Angel fans, right now, but I say out. June 9th, 2023, I say out. Now, it doesn't mean that I don't say in here shortly, but for right now, I'm saying out. And let me tell you why. Jackson mentioned 3 division leaders, 3 wildcard teams, right? All right, here we go. This is by numbers. This is just by wins, not losses right now. Okay. Tampa Bay, Minnesota at under 500, and Texas are all leading their division. Okay. Baltimore, 38 wins. Houston, 36 wins. Yankees, 36 wins. Toronto, 35 wins. Angels, 33 wins. Now, Angels are 5-5 in their last 10 games. They do have a 3-game winning streak going on right now, but they're 5-5 and they cannot beat Houston. I don't care what you do, say, how you say it, they can't. I think the Shohei Trout run is over. I hate to say that, but I think it's over. I think that the Angels are at this point now. We're at the beginning of the dog days of summer, folks. They could go on a 10-game winning streak, and I could eat crow here. But right now, as it sits, they have to leapfrog at least 2 other teams, and one of them being Houston. It's gonna be tough.
Well, no, I mean they're trailing Toronto and the Yankees. I think they're 3.5 back in the Yankees or something like that. And if Aaron Judge misses significant time with this injury, I think this is the Angels' window to kind of, put it together. Maybe make up some ground right here because, the Yankees without Aaron Judge.
Okay. And that's a fair statement, but they also have Giancarlo. I can't find a jersey that fits me correctly. They have Anthony Rizzo, who is playing out of his mind right now offensively, and Garrett Cole that's still pitching well. So
I understand that, but as a Braves fan who's watched their team slog through May despite the good pitching. If you can't hit consistently, you're not going to win a lot of ball games.
Log through May.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So let me see if I can pull this up here and I can justify it in another way, Jackson. And I don't disagree with you. Okay, I'm not telling you you're right and I'm wrong, or I mean vice versa. I'm right and you're wrong. Whatever. It's Friday
I know
morning.
what you, I
What
know
do I?
what you mean. I know what you mean.
So you got the Cubs, then you got Seattle, which they're right below you. You need to win that. Then you got 4 with Texas, 3 with Kansas City. You need to win that. 2 with the Dodgers. We know they're going to lose both of those. And then Colorado and the White Sox. And then you start July, okay, with Arizona, San Diego, LA, and then the All-Star break. So if you're gonna make a run, you really, really need to make a run with the teams like Seattle, KC, Colorado. Because like we just talked about, the White Sox are hot right now. The Rangers are hot. And you don't want to be kind of stumbling around when you're going to face the Dodgers, San Diego, and Arizona, right? Because Arizona's as hot as they can be. They're in first place. Arizona's in first place right now. So
Yeah. I mean, Arizona's won 8 of their last 10. They're a good
mhm,
team. Both those losses were to the Braves. So
yeah,
it's not like they were little cheapies. So, but I do think, I don't want to offend Dodgers fans, but the Dodgers have been semi scuffling as of late. The Padres haven't been playing too well. So I think the Angels do have a shot, but I do agree with you. This is kind of their make or break stretch
yep.
before the All-Star break. We'll,
By the
we'll
way,
know whether they're buyers or sellers. I'll tell you
you're not
that.
going to offend Dodger fans. Dodger fans already know that our bullpen sucks right now, and that's why we're losing games. We're not losing games because of the offense. I mean,
Oh no.
no. I mean, what do we score? 20 runs in 3 games in Cincinnati and lost 2 out of those 3.
It scored 8 and scored 6 and lost both games. Like,
Yeah,
come on.
yeah. I mean, and can we please not like shy away from the conversation? Do we DFA Noah Syndergaard? Do we put him in the bullpen? What do we do with him? Because he's obviously not
Yeah.
Thor.
And that's the thing. I know, people always say, and this is just a general thought about all the MLB, he eats innings or whatever, but if he's going out there I'm gonna use the word slog again, slogging through 5 innings and getting, giving up 5, 6 runs, is it really worth it?
So Jackson, let me ask you this. Okay. Let me ask you this. You're a quasi Angel fan. Okay. You grew up close to the ballpark. Okay. You're a huge Braves guy, but you're a quasi Angels fan.
I'll dabble in the Angels. I'll watch them.
Dabble. Yeah, dabble. Okay. Angels are up 2-0 going into the bottom of the first. You happy with that?
I
Score
mean,
2 runs. The opposing pitcher throws 25 pitches. Are you happy with that?
you should be.
Okay. All right. Top of the second, it's
Guess
2 to
that's what
2. Are you as happy?
no.
No, of course not. Okay. Top of the
I
third.
I mean,
What's that?
well, I'll use the magic words for you. We bring it up on all the lies and everything. Shut down innings are
That's
important.
right. That's right. Okay. Top of the third. Angels score 4 runs. You're up 6 to 2. You feeling pretty good about winning now?
I mean, you should, no matter how bad your bullpen is, you should be pretty confident with a 4-run lead.
Okay. Okay. How about the bot at the top of the fifth? It's now 6-6. How you feeling?
Not
Okay.
too hot.
And your starting pitcher's out. That was yesterday's game with Noah Syndergaard. Okay. Clayton Kershaw came out. He got an early lead, shut it down. Right? Didn't happen. What's Noah's ERA? Can you fact check me on Noah's ERA real quick? I don't know if the numbers go that high, but if you could fact
Not
check
good.
it. Yeah.
My official stats man, I'm gonna say not good. Yeah, 7.16. What What's probably more alarming is the 1.4 whip, 1.44 whip. That's
Hmm.
that's not going to win you games.
No, no, and if you're looking, what's the opposing batting average?
Oof, 313.
That's a Hall of Fame career. If you end up your career, if you're an offensive player and you end up your career at 313, you are in the Hall of Fame. Okay.
Yeah, not 900 OPS against. Yikes. That's all I'm going to say. Yikes.
Yeah. I have not pitched competitively since 1998. I'm in my late 40s. Sign me up. I'll give it a whirl. Okay. You don't even pay me half of the league minimum and I'll give it a whirl. I bet you I can get some outs that this boy can't. Okay. The kid that we've had on the Instagram live and on the podcast that's going to go into the draft this year throws the same speed as Noah Syndergaard, and he's 17 years old. Okay. Like, drop him. You got to drop him. So,
Well,
um,
and I think Syndergaard's problem, and I'll bring up Alek Manoah because I'm sure some people want to hear about it. It's a mentality issue, you know, even when their stuff isn't good, Syndergaard's not the same pitcher he was in 2015. Let's be real. That was 8 years ago, guys. He doesn't throw 99 anymore. You hear the name, you shouldn't be thinking 99 miles an hour,
yeah.
you know? So when you throw 93, you have to actually pitch. The guys that pitch 93 below work the corners very well. They work east to west mostly rather than up and down.
Mhm.
Where Syndergaard's stuck in the mentality of I'm a power pitcher and I need to, work up and down. Keeping the ball down is great, but if you can't work the ball up, there's not a lot of use in throwing the ball down because if it stays down, guys are going to lock in on the down pitch. And there's a lot of really good low ball hitters in the MLB. So
Yep.
it's an approach thing, and as a fan, I'm not going to sit here and say I can pitch better. It's hard for me to understand, how these guys. It's hard to make adjustments. Baseball's, throwing a baseball's hard. That's why there's a lot of guys that come up, get shelled, and never pitch again. But at some point, you need to realize, this isn't working, and you need to try something else because this could be the end of the line for Noah Syndergaard if he doesn't figure something out.
Yeah. And that's true. And that's very, very true. And honestly, I just you brought up Alex. We're talking Noah. These are honorable mentions or maybe dishonorable mentions, I guess. I don't know. But um little scary and it's sad because you don't want to see these guys. Somebody asked us today on the live, this morning on the radio on the morning show. Somebody asked me, um, did what are your thoughts about Noah? Do you trade him? Do you DFA him? Or do you put him in the bullpen? And my response was you DFA him because you can't have him in the bullpen if he's not reliable. And who wants his $13 million contract with the 7.13 ERA? There's nobody there that wants that contract. So you DFA him. You say, hey,
Well,
experiment done. Sorry, doesn't work.
yeah, I mean, and a lot of people don't realize this. Contenders don't really care about eating the money because you got to pay the guy either way. And when you're in your contention window, you have to win. And you know, sometimes teams stick with guys too long because they look at their analytics and they look at their spin rate. This is just how baseball is, and they go, "Well, he should be pitching well, but why doesn't it work?" And at the end of the day, it's the games played on the field because you could talk about the advanced analytics of how the Marlins have won, 16 one-run games, and that's half their wins. Well, at the end of the day, that's 16 wins. It doesn't matter that they've won, oh wow, they've won 16 one-run games. The run differential is horrible. It doesn't matter. They've won 16 games by one run, and those count. The wins count. Just
Yeah.
because the peripheral stat, people use the run differential as kind of like the Pythagorean theorem or whatever theorem. or triangle theory of whatever the calculate wins losses. Some teams just defy it. Some guys just defy the stats. At the end of the day, the stats sometimes lie. Don't listen to the saying. The stats do lie. They
Yeah,
can lie. They can be deceiving.
they can be deceiving, and anybody can have a decent game. But right now, it's hard to argue the business of baseball and the fandom of baseball. Because if you and I owned a team and we were employing a guy like Noah or Alex, and again, no disrespect to these guys, I'm not the one that's lacing them up, right? But if we owned a team, we're looking at this from this perspective. Hey, 13 million bucks is a little over $1 million a month, right? Which is chump change. That's nothing in the MLB world,
Oh,
right? Big
for the
deal.
Dodgers, they'll make that back in like one homestand.
Right. And so then you look at it and you say, okay, so what's more important? We hold on to this guy and we see what we can do, or we cut bait, we lose that money, yet, we can make more money elsewhere uh, by winning. And, if we continue to lose games, we won't be playing in October. So not only would we have kept somebody on the team that we had to pay $1 million a month for, but we may have lost $100 million in revenue in October.
Yeah.
So do you cut bait on it?
Yeah. Sometimes you do. Sometimes, and it's frustrating. You pay athletes to perform, and sometimes they don't perform. And
Yeah, it's
it
tough.
is frustrating. Oh, this guy's making 30 million or whatever. But sometimes you just have to accept the fact. And I think front offices just need to accept the fact. Sometimes you just got to cut bait sooner
Yeah,
rather than later.
yeah. No, it is tough. It is tough, Jackson, because there's emotions there. You don't want to see somebody get hurt. You don't want to see somebody out, but you do at the same time, you do need to you do need to respect the fact again, if I've got to lose a little bit of money up front, but I've got a huge potential in October to make that back, great, right? Between TV contracts, between whatever else, just making it to the World Series, I'll make back that $1 million a month that we lost for Noah like that. And
Yeah.
some team may pick him up. So we may have to pay him, they may pay him the league minimum, right? Which, at this point, 6 months into the season, what's the league minimum? 60,000 a month. So we don't have to pay him $1 million. We have to pay him 940,000. All right, cool. Right. But
Yeah.
anyways, Jackson, did we do a good enough job today for this weekly review?
Yeah, I think we covered it. Hopefully the East Coast games don't get canceled this weekend because of that wildfire in Canada. Hopefully they can get that under control. It is
Somebody
really,
needs to check their passports at the border. That smoke is not supposed to come through and pass through customs.
yeah. So all you people up here in the Northeast with me, stay safe. If you have trouble breathing, uh, take care. Don't spend too much time outside. It's rough, and
Yeah.
hopefully it'll all be resolved, and we can just go back to enjoying baseball and enjoying the outdoors because the weather has been nice despite all this.
So yes, so it has been nice. Jackson and I both were raised in areas where wildfires are very common in Southern California. So listen to his advice. If the air quality is not good out there, don't go out working out, don't go running. Just stay inside, crank your AC, just enjoy the day, right? Watch a little Netflix, whatever, right? But just stay safe.
Yeah, stay safe.
Okay, Jackson, everybody sees the new hat. It's going to be up on the website here shortly. But when they go to the team store, is there a discount code that you have that you can give them?
Always use code Jackson. It's 10% off.
Capital
It'll
letters, right?
Yeah, they look nice. I own a hat. I'm not wearing my hat today, but hat's comfortable. People always ask about it. It's cool. It's fun. and most importantly, it's good in warm weather. It breathes really well. So, you know, with it being summertime, it's always nice to have a comfortable hat.
And let me tell you what Jackson's getting ready to do. Okay. Jackson is going to a game on June 20th. That game is against the defending national league champion, between the defending national league champion Philadelphia Phillies and who?
The Atlanta Braves.
The Atlanta Braves. Jackson is going to be going live in enemy territory so that we can pipe it back into Atlanta, GA at the watch party. How much fun is that?
That's going to be a ton of fun. I'm looking forward to it. I am sitting on the Phillies dugout side, so wish me luck, Bill. Wish me luck, Tom.
I will. Well, Jackson, I'm going to reach out to some of our boys, like
Man.
the pandemic crew, and I might, get you a little live going, something with
Oh,
those
boy.
guys. Too much fun.
That would be fun, as long as there's cheesesteaks involved.
Yeah. Amen. Amen. All right, Jackson, we'll do this again next week. Top Fan Rivalry followers, if you are a Top Fan Rivalry locker room member, share that code with everybody. Get in, because I got one word for you, and one word only, and it's coming. App. 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 You're going to want to be a part of that. So, Jackson, thanks again, my friend. We'll do this again next week.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.